Singer. Colin is managing partner of immigration.ca and skilledworker.com. Canada has recently announced its 3-year immigration levels. So it's going to be raising its annual level of immigrants up to 350,000. The current level is 300,000. So this will be on a managed gradual basis, and it's going to cover all programs. So for the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to be discussing these new levels. So Colin, what are the highlights of the government's new 3-year plan?
I think you raised the description was quite accurate, and I think the takeaway from all of this is it's managed immigration increases. So we are looking at a current annual increase, an annual immigration level of 300,000. It's been that way for the last 2 years, but what the government plans to do is over a 3-year period go to 350,000. Again, it's very managed increases across a broad range. So we're going to see, in terms of the volume of people coming in, most of the increases are going to be in the economic class. So Canada currently brings in about 175,000 what's called economic immigrants. And the government plans to increase those numbers from current levels of 177,000 next year, 2019, to about 192,000. And you're going to see slight increases in this broad stream of category to about 195, 196,000. And in 3 years from now, our current levels of 177 will go to 202,000. Again, that's the economic class. You're also going to see increases in the family class, very marginal increases, but nonetheless some increases. You're going to see increases in the refugee stream. Current levels are in the range of 44,000. Next year, the government calls for about 46,000. And within a 3-year period, the entire refugee stream is about 52,000. So you're seeing increases, and the numbers seem overall substantial when you look at 50,000 as a whole over 3 years. But there's a number of factors that are leading this government to wanting to increase the numbers. But again, the most important concept is managed increases, careful, so that the infrastructure can accommodate those numbers, and those are the overall numbers.
So what does this mean for families then with the levels?
So you do have an opportunity to bring in a sponsored family member. In one sense, you're going to be able to see the government is not shirking its obligations towards families. You're going to see overall a modest increase. I mean, from 88,000 to about 91,000. You're not seeing a lot of increase, but you're going to see what we call very moderate increases. And unfortunately, across the board, what you're going to see when you are bringing in a sponsored member, you're probably going to see an increase, unfortunately, in processing times. It's typical that the increased volume is not just unique to immigrants on the permanent side. You're seeing increased volumes on a whole range of things. On the temporary foreign worker, you're seeing increases on the study streams. So overall, the entire system is being tested, and it's being called upon to deliver. And unfortunately for families, you probably are going to see processing times that are not going to come down. Let's just say that. It's unlikely that they're going to decrease, and families are going to have to understand that processing for a sponsorship application is probably going to continue to be in the range of about a year and a half. So unfortunately, increased numbers do not necessarily translate into bringing people faster to Canada.
Okay. So then what would it mean for candidates?
If you're a candidate, obviously you want to look at the positive news is that the numbers are increasing. You're going to see opportunities under the provincial nomination streams. You're going to see increased opportunities this year, 2018, 55,000 in the provincial streams, not including Quebec. Quebec by itself brings in economic immigrants about 30,000 this year. You're going to see next year in the provincial streams going up to 61. Quebec probably won't change. It might even decrease according to the new policies that this recently elected government has come out with. So you're going to see opportunities to perhaps look at permanency for an individual from overseas. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean that it's getting easier. It's certainly not easy to come to Canada. So if you're looking to come to Canada, yes, there's a wonderful impression that Canada is open, the numbers are increasing, but it's very strategic on the part of this government, and the fact remains it's not anybody that's coming in. It's very highly qualified individuals, and for many individuals, unfortunately, you're going to need to have an employer in hand. That's the reality. So if you're looking to have Canada as a destination on a permanent side, you have to understand that you need to have the right qualifications.
Okay, so you mentioned employers. So what do the levels mean for employers then?
For employers, it's very encouraging that you will have an opportunity to bring in individuals on a permanent basis. From an employer's perspective, that's a retention tool. That allows you to go out and recruit a candidate. For many employers, the challenge of finding top talent is ongoing. You have a very historic, we're nearing, excuse me, decades low unemployment rates, and that's translating into challenges for Canadian employers in bringing top talent. When you're looking to the foreign market, it's important as an employer that being in a recruiting position will allow you to retain candidates for permanency. So there is more opportunity to bring candidates to your labor force, but unfortunately, processing times on the temporary side of things is really going to be an ongoing challenge. So as an employer looks to recruit, which is what the current policies promote, you're going to be challenged by getting candidates to Canada quickly. Once you do get them to Canada, you will be able to retain them on a permanent level.
Okay, so Canada has seen nearly 20,000 asylum seekers come to Canada from the United States, and they're claiming, each year, and obviously they're making refugee claims. What is the obviously there's been has there been an impact on Canada? What is this impact?
It's very controversial that, on the one hand, this government, which came into power 2 years ago this fall, one of their important platforms was an immigration component. Now, at that time, of course, there were a lot of Syrian refugees who were drawing the media attention, and there was in fact a tremendous humanitarian challenge that was unfolding in Syria. Canada at that time had promoted bringing in 25,000 Syrian refugees. And the government was successful in getting elected in part on that particular platform. Canadians had an appetite from a humanitarian perspective in welcoming Syrian refugees at that time. What's happened, however, is over the past 2 years, we have what's called an irregular refugee challenge, and that is a lot of individuals who have obtained visitor visas to the United States have worked upon getting into Canada through an irregular border crossing. This has led to many refugee claims that are being adjudicated. 95% plus of these types of claims are rejected. So what's happening is there's this perception that the Canadian government needs to get a handle on the refugee stream that is affecting our annual numbers. There are individuals coming in on a monthly basis. Some months it's 1,500, 1,800. Most of them are coming through the Quebec border. This is doing is it's creating an optical challenge for the current government that we don't have control of our borders. As you can recall, this is one of the populist platforms that the American president, currently Donald Trump, is using to convey a need to be tougher on its borders. And it's having an effect in many ways on his popularity, in a sense that he's quite popular with some groups. This type of issue, it could face Canada in that an illegal and irregular refugee stream coming into Canada, if our current government does not get a handle on it, it could, in fact, in 1 year from now, when the next federal elections are coming, this could be an issue that could come back and harm the current government. So it's really important that individuals Canadians. It's true we have a flow of refugees, but bear in mind, Canada is planning to accept 44,000 refugees next year, the year after. So the stream of individuals coming into Canada, unfortunately, is troubling because these are individuals who are not making claims in the normal channels. There are options for the Canadian government to address this flow of illegal refugee claimants. It's a question of whether they're going to make political decisions that could come back and harm them as well. So it's important that the government gets a handle on this, what we call refugee stream. But bear in mind, Canada is very welcoming and plans to bring in 45,000 refugees per year in each of the next 3 years.
Okay, great. So should we move on to how we can assist?
Sure. Let's just cover, if you're a candidate coming to Canada, what you might want to look at in terms of the strategy we might be able to help you with.
Okay, so on our website we have the minimum criteria, but with all our clients, we provide the immigration as well as employment search assistance. So we'll provide you with a database of at least 500 potential hiring employers in your field and the provinces of your choice. We also provide you with a Canadian-style resume, cover letter, and as well as other tools. And we also do assist, if one wants assistance, with LinkedIn.
We have an interesting program. It's been very, very successful for us over the past 6 months, and it's called a live LinkedIn tutorial, face-to-face, 60 minutes, one-on-one with our very experienced employment advisors, having an understanding on the power of LinkedIn, how to use LinkedIn in finding employers, outlying areas, creating job alerts. There's a number of very powerful tools within the LinkedIn platform that a person who's in the know can help. And really, if you learn the intricacies of what LinkedIn can do, it can be very, very beneficial in your job search. For example, if you're coming to Canada or wherever you might want to ultimately become employed. So our LinkedIn tutorials have become a very interesting part of the service package that we offer our individual clients for those who want it.
So that's for candidates. What about employers?
If you're an employer and you need to recruit for individuals overseas, our GRN Montreal .com as well as our skilledworker.com. Both of these are in-house, standalone recruitment enterprises. We have a good understanding of bringing in foreign workers. So if you are an employer and you need some assistance, we're very well suited to going out and putting together a recruitment project that will help you identify top talent from overseas. In addition to that, of course, we've got a certain understanding, of course, on the immigration side, so you're well served in terms of being an employer in either recruiting, or if you have the recruiting under control, we surely would be in a position to help you with the immigration formalities.
Perfect. So if you're a candidate and you want to find out if you qualify, please go to www.immigration.ca and complete our free online evaluation form. We'll then get back to you with your options. And if you're an employer, please go to the Contact Us section of our website. As always, please do like us and follow us on our social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And we'll keep you posted on when the next live stream will be.
Great.
So
that covers our session for this morning. Hope you found it informative. Have a great day and see you soon.
Thank you very much for joining.